Hey everybody, it's Ed Keller here from tcpalm.com with your weekly fishing forecast, the after Irma fishing forecast. And just like everything else in the after Irma, we're going to have our own little technical issues here. So let's move on to the next slide. Brought to you as usual by White's Tackle, which is open already. They've been open since 1925. Fort Pierce, Stewart, Vero Beach, 3 locations to serve you. They've been through numerous hurricanes. They weathered Irma just fine. All 3 of the stores are open up. So make sure you stop by to get all your stuff for the mullet run, which is what we're going to talk about a little bit. This is Ken Duke. He's a PGA pro golfer, lives here in Stewart. This is his daughter Lauren. And just before Irma hit, they were out Saturday afternoon. They bought some shrimp over at Snook Nook just before they closed up for good for the storm, and came home, and right off their dock there, off their seawall, they were able to catch a really nice snook, about 38 inches, caught and released. Good job by Lauren, and you can see how proud Ken is there. So congratulations to those guys for that. This is our state attorney, Tom Backetall. He's been wanting to get into the fishing report for a while. Congratulations to him and Dave Berard and Brian McCandless. Those guys were able to get out last Tuesday, a few days before the storm came in. They got an 11-foot alligator in the north part of Lake Okeechobee around the Indian Prairie Canal area. So congratulations to those guys. You can see how big that gator is. Nice, good sized gator. Dave had the tags there, and Tom was coming along for the ride. And he was able to go on his first hunt and get his first gator kill. So congratulations to Tom and those guys. Martin County boys, grew up around here just like I did. We graduated the same high school class, so we are always proud when class 84 does something cool around here. Anyway, let's go on to Will Blackwell from Stewart. He was out fishing with his dad David. They were able to catch a real nice jack here. You can see fishing near the bridge right here, and this is after Irma, so good job by these guys to get out there. And while school's out all week, you're going to have 7 days to make up, so my kids will be in school till probably 4th of July. But anyway, good job by Will in catching this nice jack. I want to show you, this was some mullet we saw yesterday down in Jensen Beach, downtown. You see a nice tricolor here, flew in to get it in the shot. But these are all finger mullet, guys. They're only about this big, whole big school of them. There's a couple larger ones in there too. Jacks are already tearing them up. The color of the water, don't be alarmed. That's just our post-storm water that we get around here every rainy season. Indian River Lagoon and Jensen Beach, it turns into like kind of a tea-colored color there. What you don't want is you don't want that milky color. That's the thing that really causes damage. And you don't want it in the spring. But during the fall, the estuary is used to handling this kind of rainfall. Just a couple other photos to go along with what we went through this week. This was before the storm. This was one thing I thought was interesting. You don't see this very often, but we had 6 of these Coast Guard boats. They're heading up the St. Lucie Canal, up the St. Lucie Canal and Okeechobee Waterway to get out of harm's way ahead of Irma, so that they could get back right away to respond. But just like every other boat that had gone past the locks, they all had to wait till inspections were completed Tuesday afternoon to be able to get back through the locks again. I understand a bunch of boats that are west of Hendry County are hung up by a swing bridge for a road there called the Fort, I can't remember the name of the bridge. Anyway, it's in Hendry County. It's a swing bridge. It crosses the Caloosahatchee River there. And apparently the guys are hung up there still. They can't get back east until that gets opened up. Again, more boats staging here to get ready to go west along the Okeechobee Waterway. You can also see right here, this is the bridge, the Turnpike Bridge. This is traffic moving pretty slowly going northbound. So lots of people were preparing ahead of Irma. Good job by Floridians to either get out of harm's way or to make sure you took the proper precautions to stay safe. I know we've had our share of mishaps and deaths and some other problems, but and lots of damage, of course, in the Keys. Horrible damage here. It's going to take years to rebuild that. Also over in the west coast of Florida, pretty bad stuff. Fortunately, the east coast, we had a lot of damage also because we had 100-mile-an-hour wind gusts here, 12 inches of rain in St. Lucie County, but we weathered the storm about as good as I could have hoped for a storm the size of Irma. Keep in mind, Irma was one of those rare storms that affected Key West to Jacksonville, Tallahassee to Tampa to Naples, over to Miami as well. So for a storm to have that kind of magnitude where it touched all those parts of the state, that's kind of a rare event for us. Let's hope we don't see anything like Irma anytime soon. Next we have, just to show you some more boat damage, these are some derelict vessels or some liveaboards that just throw their hook out. This is north of the Jensen Causeway. Martin County Sheriff's Office, fantastic job by them and all of our first responders in the area. Right after the storm cleared, they were out here on Monday morning going around boat to boat to boat, every boat they could find that was stranded on the waterway, to check to see if there's anybody on board, make sure anybody needed help. They were there to help them. putting their own lives at risk, but also to see the situations. There were 5 or 6 boats blown ashore, several boats sunk in the Martin County area, probably more than that, but there's many boats in St. Lucie County, Indian River County. Many boat owners took proper precautions. Some of them didn't, some of them were absentee owners. So we've got a problem we have to deal with in the future, but derelict vessels, and we'll go into that in future columns. Let's go to the next one. Here's another boat. This thing you may have seen it, this big catamaran's been anchored up south of the Palm City Bridge in between 2 mangrove islands for well over a year. I don't know the status of the owner. I don't know if he's in town, out of state. I don't know if he lives on it. I'm not sure what the situation is, but his boat came over, the high tide picked it up and just laid it right here on the seawall here at Layton Park in Palm City, right next to the Palm City Bridge. His boat suffered minor damage. I noticed the registration was valid through July of 2017, so I'm not sure what the status of it is. The thing kind of, I questioned was, he's got a no trespassing sign on both sides of it. The no trespassing sign was new after the storm. You could tell the line tying it up was new, and so was the sign. So I don't know if the boat owner did it or if the county did it, but in any case, we need to handle situations like this better in the future. Here's a sad story about the sea lion. You may have read my story that ran out TC Palm and also in the print this week. But this is the sea lion. It's a Whitaker, built here in Stewart, 1963, a 53-foot sport fishing boat, beautiful boat, owned by Bob Green and the Anson family, Philip Anson and them, a couple other partners. But anyway, sadly it sunk at the dock in Jensen Beach where they tried to tie it up before the storm. This is what it looked like Monday morning. I was able to walk down the dock. The owners gave me permission to take photos of this. So we had some issues here. Here's some of the folks who were there that day. Here's the boat sitting in the water. We had a piling that failed. You can see the piling right here. It snapped off at the ground line, and then the boat really took a battering against the side of the dock, punched holes in the side of the boat here, which allowed the water to get in and sunk it. But Seto came out, responded quickly on Tuesday. Here they are. They've patched up the boat a little bit to get it to float again, pumped the water off the boat, got it refloated again, and tried to contain what diesel fuel was in the water, and they've taken it already over to the outboards only over here in Rio, so that's where it sits now. And I think there's going to be either the insurance adjuster has to get to it or something, but we'll have some more about this boat as we go forward. So stay tuned. Here's a little sea turtle we saw in the water there. This is diesel fuel here. Sea turtle you can see is smaller than a leaf. Unfortunately, a lot of sea turtles probably didn't make it through this event. I know it's sad, but turtles that nested early, a lot of their turtles made it, a lot of their babies made it out of these nests. The ones that nested late, the nests that were still on the beach, were disrupted by this storm event. So I'm not sure what the status of those is, but that's just one of those things about nature, Will. It just is going to take care of itself one way or the other. So good news is we've had high numbers of sea turtle nests going on for the last several years, which just keeps increasing. So hopefully other turtles, maybe his brothers and sisters, made it okay. Anyway, here's just one more thing, a couple more things real quick. If you thought September was bad, don't let your breath out, because October is also a bad month for hurricanes around here. This is from the Colorado State University Meteorological Project there. Philip Klossbot tweeted it out today. And to finish up here, we got Ricky Gonzalez, his young daughter here. He was able to get out and fish a little bit, chasing tides charged up in Vero Beach. He was out Wednesday morning. They went out for a couple hours. He had a snook on, jumped a 40-pound tarpon behind Mr. Manatee's, mullet everywhere, he said. The prospects and the forecast looks good for the mullet run coming up, so get out there and fish and send me your photos.